Welcome back to Travel Again Insights, a weekly look at what matters most to our amazing industry. Ed, good to see you again as always.
Good to see you too, Mike. Once again, plenty of news to cover, and we're going to start off this week with an announcement by the Biden team as they're plotting the country's first national COVID testing strategy. And I would say it's about time. Tell us more about this article.
Yes, that's good. So, I mean, again, you have to like the way generally the administration is, taking the approach they're taking, the way they're looking at the key components of testing being one of them. Now, granted, a lot of their focus is around, schools particularly, and getting schools reopened and looking at how testing is going to fit into that. But it certainly sets a tone for what has to happen in travel as well. So we've got our work here is to make sure we get travel and travel infrastructure up high on the agenda for how that fits into a national testing strategy. But the fact that there's talks about having one is certainly in of itself news and good news. So again, these are fundamental building blocks, as we know, between, all of the protocol that travelers and just the general public should follow, including mask wearing, combined with testing, combined with digital health certificates or platforms to help us kind of put all the pieces together to have a safe travel infrastructure for the long term.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, I might have mentioned to you a few times how excited I am that my daughter might get to go back to school full time, and this is all part of that. Now we need all of that to be applied to travel. So I hear you loud and clear. Next article today is an announcement from the CDC that fully vaccinated people can gather without masks. This confused some people. So tell us why it's confusing.
Yeah, I think it was a missed opportunity. And it's a shame to say that because, it's hard when you don't want to be critical in this environment of everybody trying to do the best they can and do their jobs. But I think, here we had a missed opportunity, to really talk about travel yet again and having, what's the strategy for, how, basically, is it safe to travel? And the frustrating part, I think, with this is that, I think even though they were trying to be assuring and give some guidance to people who have been vaccinated and want to see their grandchildren, which was the kind of example used. It's like, but at the same token, they're saying, but don't travel. And that doesn't really make any sense because how are you going to see them if you can't travel to see them? And so there was the contradiction there. And it was kind of like more noted in its kind of absence that there was an opportunity to talk about the fact that, look, traveling is safe. It's the environment that's been now created inside of an airport, inside of an aircraft, inside of a hotel room. All of those elements in the back of a black car, like modes of transportation, the work has been done, in those secure places to create a safe environment. The challenge is, what do you do when you're not in those environments? Now, again, if you're traveling to go to see your family and you're vaccinated and you're in private homes, I mean, good. I'm glad, again, the attempt to be reassuring and give some guidance, but the reality is people are going to do that anyway. Where we need guidance is telling people and giving people real guidance about the things like what they need to do to have a safe travel experience. We need to get moving again. People want to get moving again, and people need to get moving again. We need to get travel infrastructure going. So this was an opportunity, and I think a missed one, to give some preliminary guidance, even if it wasn't full guidance yet. But this notion of keep saying that don't travel is not, it doesn't hold, and it's not doing anybody any favors now, because you're not creating guidance that, in a staged way that can get people the information they need. So it just created more confusion than it did really help clarify. Again, hard to be critical when you're talking about, professionals are trying to use all the knowledge, experience, expertise they have. They're trying to give guidance in a very difficult, challenging, unprecedented situation. But, again, frustrating, and certainly frustrating from a travel industry perspective. We missed an opportunity yet again to give people the true guidance they need and to let people understand that it can be safe to travel. Again, it's not what you're doing in the modes where we have control. It's the everything in between, and people need to continue to wear masks. And that was the other part of it too. I think just in a general sense, it's like we don't need to tell people that they don't need to wear masks if they're vaccinated. We need to tell the world to continue to wear masks when they're in public places. And that messaging gets lost below. The headline becomes, don't wear a mask. And that people don't need guidance to know that they're not going to wear one when they're in their house with their family. They're already doing that. Safe or unsafe, that's what they're already doing. So the reality is we need to tell people what to do when they're out in the world and how to stay safe. So again, just hard because there's a missed opportunity, but we'll get them next time. We gotta figure out how to get this in sync and get our industry going again and get this messaging improved.
Yeah, and I mean, hear us loud and clear. The vaccination schedule, the fact that people are getting vaccinated is all fantastic news. Yeah. We just want to keep our focus on the industry and the correct messaging. And speaking of that, Mike, Travel Again brought together 19 industry groups in an effort to continue to unify the industry. Tell us about this initiative and how it went.
Yeah, so we were working on this privately behind the scenes for a while now, and it's basically an attempt to pull together a number of the world's leading associations or basically travel advocacy groups that are out there to come together and really look for ways to unify and find commonality. It was a really unique gathering. I don't think it's ever been done before. I mean, we had really just a terrific group of senior leaders from, we said 19 organizations primarily from North America and Europe, but really representing truly the global travel industry, all facets of the industry coming together. We had a terrific roundtable, a lot of great exchange of ideas and approaches. And basically the goal, the focus is how do we really create common global standards and policies that can help with the recovery of the industry. And it's something that we've been focused on as Travel Again. But I think for our industry that, again, these organizations, everyone is doing, basically outstanding work, but a lot of the work is being done within those, various sectors and groups. We've never had to pull together as an entire industry like this before. And, hopefully I think, we're taking a good, really critical first step in creating more unification of, again, messaging, policy, standards. The work is being done. That's not the issue. It's like, how do we get, amplify the messaging out there to all the different audiences, policymakers, the general public, even our own industry can always do more, right? And so I think what we found, which to no surprise, is that by far the commonalities outweigh any differences and really, if there are any, the differences are just really market challenges. They're not about what these groups are doing or about basically the common views we have at a high level. It's just basically how to apply them given the different kind of market conditions and sentiment among travelers and consumers and frankly government in different markets. But I think, again, the great news is that I think it really puts us in a good place, hopefully, to accelerate, do more, to get really strong policies in place. I mean, back to the CDC example we just talked about, more we can do to collectively, if we're all on the same page as an industry and communicating those same messages consistently, hopefully we can have some more breakthroughs. And again, it's all about how can we accelerate the recovery of the industry. Again, the supplier community, they're doing the hard work of making their environment safe. The association community is doing the hard work of being in there and really fighting on these issues. But if we can do it all together better, then let's do it. And that was the attitude. So I first just want to thank everybody for participating, being a part. More to come on all that, but a good first start for sure.
Well, thanks, Mike, for leading that effort and for once again breaking down the news. That's it for Travel Again this week. Mike, I'll see you next week.
See you next week, Ed.